Hello and welcome to A Brit in Poland, the channel that tries to show you as much about Poland as you could possibly want to know. This week I am in Uniejów, which is basically like a thermal spa town, which is just pretty close to Łódź. And this place is, like everywhere I go in Poland, a bit unique. There's a castle here, there's a palace, there are these amazing thermal baths, and I think there's some like geothermal energy basically being utilized. There are even some fountains which are kind of naturally geothermal, so it's quite a unique place geologically, and also it's a beautiful place to explore as well. So, you know, please join me as I tell you about the history and show you what there is to do in this lovely place. See you soon. Dzień dobry and welcome to A Brit in Poland. With this channel, I travel across the country, I bring you the culture, and I show you just how amazing Poland is. So I invite you on my journey. If you want to see more, I have Facebook and Instagram profiles, which you will find links to in the description below. And if you want to really help out, you can turn to my Patreon or Patronite accounts, again in the description. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, share and subscribe. Do zobaczenia.
So Uniejów is located on the Warta River in the Łódź voivoideship, and it has about 3,000 people approximately as the population, so it's not the biggest place in the world. Since 2012, the city has had the status of a health resort. The basis for granting the status of a health resort were the properties of the local warm medicinal waters containing, among others, sulfur, radon, fluorine, copper and iron chlorides, metasilicic acid compounds and iodine, the content of which is the same as in the Baltic Sea. So this video will cover pretty much what you can see and do. We were there for one night, and it was a very novel place. As you can see from the town square here, it's a little bit different. It's a bit greener. It has a bit more of a natural vibe, and it definitely kind of lives up to that spa town feel. And there's some interesting history. This tower, for example, is from 1901, I believe. I think it used to be part of a church, and is now just kind of a freestanding thing. And before I forget, we had to take a small minibus to get here from Łódź, which I never liked these small minibuses, but it got us there. So we're going to talk about the Collegiate Church of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So this is a Gothic building from the 14th century, which was founded by the Archbishop of Gniezno, Bogoria Skotnicki. It was rebuilt in the 16th century, and it was seriously damaged in 1939, the roof being burnt down, the western gable with the vault collapsed, and right after the war it was rebuilt, and in 1958 it was painted. I think it was actually painted very recently, because I saw pictures and it looks quite different, but it looks beautiful. The greatest historical value in the church is the Gothic presbytery from the 14th century, side altars from the 17th century, and in the chapel of the Blessed Bogomil, there is a sarcophagus made of bronze in 1667 in Gdansk. It's one of the most beautiful churches I've seen. It's very colourful, has a lot of character, and it really stands out. At night, it's kind of lit in this purple glow. Yeah, so it's something a bit exceptional. So there was this cool rose stone. I didn't really find any information about this, but it was right by the hotel we were staying in, and I just thought it was kind of novel. I guess maybe it's more of a fountain in the summer. We were pretty hungry when we got there, so we stopped in this Zorbas place for some food, and they did some really nice pizza actually, and they were able to accommodate all of us. Oh god, I'm getting hungry watching this video, and that pizza was hot. I always make a mistake by getting the spicier things. But one of our main priorities of this trip was to get to the thermal baths. So this is the kind of direction we took through the center. And there were this cool like sphere and the nice circle, so a great place for group photos and quite picturesque. But on the way to the thermal baths, you have to cross the river. So the River Varta, even for the time of year, looked lovely. And you really do get this lovely kind of panorama of the city, which is, in day and night, looks gorgeous. For such a small place, you can see a lot of effort has gone. So we're going to start with the castle. So this is, it was originally a defensive castle on the left bank of the Varta River, built in the years 1360 to 1365. And this building housed the treasury of the archbishops of Gniezno. The diocesan synods and clergy meetings were often held there. The castle was initially built in the Gothic style, then rebuilt in the Renaissance style. From 1836, the castle was managed by Count Karol Tull and later by his son Alexander. For some time, it was a summer residence of Count Tull and his wife, and in the interwar period, the castle served two functions at the same time: a hotel and a gymnasium. During the Second World War, it was converted into a warehouse for artificial fertilizers and fuel, and today the castle is managed by Uniejów, and inside there is a hotel decorated partly in the historical style. So we didn't go inside, but we had a nice little wander, and you can see it's a fairly impressive castle, obviously in very good condition, very well restored. I'm pretty sure it was destroyed a couple of times, including by the Swedes at one point, but we'll talk about the history a bit later. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about some of the legends behind this place. So if you delve into the history of the castle in Uniejów, you will learn many mysterious stories about its unclear past. Led by the haunting ghost of Archbishop Jarosław Bagoria Skotnicki, who was supposed to be the founder of the castle in the years blah, blah, blah. When visiting Uniejów, be sure to take a walk through the magnificent romantic park located behind the castle. There you can see the statue of the White Lady, with whom two legends are associated, confirming that Uniejów is one of the most magical places in Poland. I love the website I found this description from. Supposedly, the woman dressed all in white was supposed to be the designer of the English-style park. Some believe that she was the lover of Count Karol Tull. The woman lost her life in unclear circumstances, and the residents of Uniejów claim that her ghost, with a basket of white roses, can often be seen amongst the park alleys. The second legend associated with the White Lady is a reference to the figure of a woman called Uniejka. So Uniejka was supposed to be the wife of a pagan who ruled Uniejów. When the city, famous for its castle treasury, was threatened by a raid of bandits, the woman was supposed to take matters into her own hands and prepare an ambush for them in the castle. Unfortunately, the invaders quickly discovered the trick and killed the unfortunate Uniejka. Her ghost in a white dress wanders around the park in Uniejów to this day. I love collecting these stories. So now we're going to go to Termy Uniejów, which you could say is the main attraction of the city and probably why most people come here. So this place was opened in 2008, and it's like I think like some of the similar facilities in, say, Zakopane. It has thermal springs. So actually, when you go in there, it has the indoor pool, the outdoor pool. It kind of has a bar, but it wasn't properly open when we were there, sadly. It has slides and things, and again, they weren't open when we were there. Probably time of year, maybe time of day. You can get a special sauna ticket. I didn't go to the sauna. I regret that now because People were saying it was their favourite part of the experience. Don't worry, people are clothed in this sauna, at least with some modesty. But yeah, I spent a few hours in this place, and it's meant to be very healing, so definitely worth the look. So we're going to take a bit of a wander, so I'll kind of highlight some of the sites while telling you about the history as we go along. So we're heading kind of south of the thermal baths now. And we went to this, we saw these cows, and we found, one of those lovely kind of, I always forget what they're called, but those kind of water walls that are very relaxing. And there was like a small kind of historical village, but there wasn't much to see. But anyway, so the beginnings of the town date back to the 11th century, but the first preserved mentions of Uniejów date back to the 12th century. In 1136, the town was mentioned as Uniejów among the estates of the Archbishop of Gniezno. In 1285, it was granted city rights, and it was destroyed twice by the Teutonic Knights in 1331 and 1339. In the 14th and 15th centuries, it was the residence of the Archbishops of Gniezno. And at the beginning of the 16th century, Uniejów consisted of three parts: the old town with the market square, the Collegiate Church, and St. Nicholas Church, which at that time was surrounded by a rampart, moat, and gates, a suburb called Kościelna Wieś, and a new town stretching from the village of Ostrówka to the west. These parts were united into one urban organism called Uniejów by Archbishop Jan Łaski by the Act of 23rd of August 1520. At the turn of the 15th and 16th centuries, Uniejów was a well-developing craft and trade town. And in 1656, the city was plundered by Swedish troops during the Swedish Deluge, and was also destroyed in 1666 during the Lubomirski Rebellion. In 1836, the Uniejów estate, including the castle, was given to the Russian general, Chief of Staff of Field Marshal Ivan Dybak, Karol von Toul, and in 1918, the city returned to the borders of independent Poland. At the end of 1939, the city found itself within the borders of the Third Reich, as the Germans came in. So the Germans established a so-called open ghetto for the Jewish inhabitants of Uniejów. On October 10th, 1941, the ghetto was liquidated and the Jews were transported to the ghetto in Chachulek, and, of course, executed. On January 19th, 1945, units of the 1st Tank Brigade of the 8th Guard Mechanized Corps, the 1st Belarusian Front, captured the city. So we're now in the kind of southern part of the main city, across the river from where we were, so back in the centre. And you'll see we found quite a few, let's say, religious areas. So like a couple of cemeteries, there was the Field of Jesus's or whatever. So, yeah, and now we're just kind of walking and seeing some of the housing. And you can see it is a very charming, very quaint place, very quiet, just really nice to walk around, actually. You know, and I always love these little touches. You know, you can see that this is a city that is cared about, that, you know, the people there, they put a lot of time and attention to making it look good. And if you read the website, it's a big green project as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, about the geothermal elements here. So geothermal water is the greatest natural resource of Uniejów. Its deposits were discovered in the late 1970s as part of the research work to find oil and natural gas. However, exploitation did not begin until the 90s. In 1999, the company Geothermal Uniejów was established, which began building a municipal heating system based on geothermal energy. So geothermal water with a temperature of 68 degrees Celsius is extracted from the depth of approximately 2,000 meters below the surface of the Earth. The high temperature allows for the versatile use of its energy. Uniejów fully uses this potential through the so-called cascade energy collection, unique on a national scale. What does it consist of? Well, after extraction to the surface, it is directed to heat exchangers where it's heat-treated fresh water. This, using a set of pumps, is pumped to heat residential, public, utility, medical, recreational, hotel and other buildings, including the estate which you just saw. This is the Jewish cemetery. As you can see, there's nothing left. It was destroyed, I believe, by the Germans during the occupation. This is a cemetery that we passed, and this is ultimately where we finished up. So this is Browar Wiatra, and this is basically a brewery on the pretty much the outskirts of town. You can see it's very modern. I was surprised, but then, obviously it's had a lot of investment go into it. Really nice beer. Yeah, they had a good variety of beer. What is the one that they recommend? Brit is their preferred offering. The quality of the food was pretty fancy. Wasn't too expensive. They catered for our large group. We were all able to pay individually. The place had a nice gift shop. Yeah, so definitely recommend it. So just to finish off the video, I'm just going to show you a few shots from nighttime. So remember, this is October, so maybe it has a few more decorations and lights than you would see at other times of year, but you can see that they make an effort to make the place look rather special during night or day, and it's one of Poland's strengths. But ultimately, I hope you enjoyed this video. I recommend Uniejów if you're looking for a nice weekend away. Thank you very much for watching. Do zobaczenia.